Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. We are back with another episode. To those that have not yet downloaded Trenza, please do go there and you can find other episodes and you can listen to more confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that was sent to me by one of our admin, and the message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? I am a South African man and I am suffering a lot because of the work that my father used to do. I have tried to work for the Lord. I have tried to go to church, but still the spirits of the dead, those people that had their body parts cut off by my father and being sold to traditional healers, they have been on my case ever since, and I can't even get a job. My sisters and my brothers, they can't get jobs, and I have one of my brother who died in a very mysterious way, and we are being told that my father was killed by one of the people who had died and was brought to the mortuary by the relatives, and then my father cut off some of the body parts, and those body parts, they were sold off to different sangomas. So most of the funeral parlors, most of the people, they do not even know what goes on. You just think that you leave your relative there and the relative will be taken good care of, and it is all about sending the dead off peacefully. But my father's business, it was very difficult, and my father was fighting with other big funeral parlors, and he did not have so much money like other companies that he was fighting against. My father started our funeral parlor in the late 1980s, back when apartheid was crumbling and death was just everywhere. At first, for him, he said that it was all about honest work. He was trying to make a business, to start a business which was going to help the family, all about burials, and he had big dreams to have a very big funeral parlor here in South Africa. But by the mid-90s, when things were really hard, my father then changed. One night, he said that there was a man that came to him. This man told him that he wanted to assist him in his small business because he had not yet managed to pay his rentals in time for a couple of months. So he came to him and he said that there was a body which he wanted to be cleaned. This was a corpse that was going to be brought from another country. It was the corpse of this other man that used to be very famous and powerful in his country, and they wanted to use his body for rituals. And all that he wanted from my father was if he was going to assist them in whatever that he wanted them to do, and my father agreed instantly before he knew what he was supposed to do. My father told us that he did not even understand some of the things that he was being told to do, but the man later explained everything to him. They wanted the organs, the bones, the skin, for there were other people that were waiting for that, but he just wanted to use the body of that famous person from another country in a ritual. But there were buyers that were willing to buy some of the human body organs. That was the beginning. At first, it was small. He said that he took the eyes, the kidneys, sometimes the fingers, but the man will always come back with envelopes of money, and he would always give money to my father. My father would hide the money in the ceiling. He would hide as well as the body parts in the ceiling. The business started to expand, and soon he was no longer just someone who was helping those that had lost their relatives, but he was a supplier. My father told me that by the 2000s, when we were in our teens, the parlor was not just a parlor, but it was a front. It was a big businessman. It was a big business meeting place for those that were involved in dark rituals. He said that there were even politicians that once came to him, and there were people that would come saying that they had been sent by different traditional healers, and he would always assist them. Some wanted human hearts, others wanted human skulls. My father never asked why. They paid and he delivered. So I grew up in that type of an environment. My father then started to teach us, but the way that he was teaching us, he would tell us to remove a finger. He would say that the family has asked us to remove the finger, and I did not even understand why we were doing all of these things. And by age 25, Brother Nashi, I was already driving a German car. We wore beautiful clothes and we were businessmen, and we always had anything that we wanted. But who brought all of these bad things in the family, according to our father, was our brother Temba. He pulled away. He did not want to do this anymore. He started reading his Bible and he started to spend less time at the funeral parlor. One day, he told me flatly that he could not continue this work. He said that I would rather starve than to sell human body parts. And I went and I told my father. So my father spoke with Temba and he gave him a warning, but still he refused. He started to apply for jobs outside of town. He avoided being at the funeral parlor with us, and he did not want to be involved in any of our father's business. Then all of a sudden, my brother, he started to go mad and he was hit by a truck and he died, just like what my father had said. Temba, you are going to die like a dog. You're going to be buried like a dog. Even my father refused to be at his own son's funeral because he was blaming my brother for all the bad things that were now happening in the business. So after my father had passed away, then we started to notice that in our house, one of the family homes that we had, we would always see the spirits of the people that we had cut off their body parts. They would just be standing sometimes on the stairs. You will get into the house, then you will see that there were people that were lined up by the stairs and they would just disappear. There were times when you would wake up, you would see that there were people that will be standing in your room and you would recognize their faces. So I started to go to different traditional healers and I told some of the traditional healers that this was what my father used to do, but I saw that the devil has no solution at all. I was being moved from one place to another, being referred from one traditional healer to another. I tried to go to church, but when I went to church, we still had so much money at that time. They told me that I was supposed to bring tithing to church. And all that they wanted was to know if I was paying my tithe in church. And they said that in time, God was going to heal everything that was broken in our family. But I wanted instant answers because my wife, she was pregnant with our child of number 2. And I was scared that my child will give birth to a child that was crippled like the first one. I had a clear dream where I was told by this other woman whom we had removed her body parts, her private parts, and sold off to this other traditional healer in Durban. She came to me and she said to me in my dream, "You did this to me. I was buried lacking some of my body parts that I was born with. So your child is going to be born lacking her own body parts because I want you to suffer." So I was always afraid. Even when my wife would say, "Let us go for a scan," I would totally refuse because I knew that there were other things that I had done that she does not know about. She does not have any clue. So I was scared to go with her to a scan, knowing that the doctors might tell us that our child was going to be born with a condition that was going to make her to be a special needs child. And when my daughter was born, she was born with a severe disability. I do want to have a normal child. That is why I have come here. I am humble. I know that my father, what he did was very wrong. What we did as well was very wrong. A lot of South African men and women were buried, missing their body parts because of what we did in my father's business. But all that I want is for forgiveness from God so that I can move on with my life. I have since started my own small business somewhere else, and that business is thriving. It is nothing to do with human body parts. I am trying to be an honest hard worker. I really do not know what kind of advice your listeners are going to give to me, because as for now, to know that even if you want to have another child, the only child that you will bring into this world will be a child that will be born with a disability. When I look at my children, I wonder what kind of a life are they going to be living? Are they going to be victims at school? And they are always going to be at a special needs school. This is my own confession. I am asking for your prayers. I am asking for South Africa to pray for me. And I want to tell people that evil is there out there in the world, and you do not have any idea how much so much wickedness is there in the world. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother right there. Let us try to speak with him in the comment section. Selling human body parts. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. I encourage you to also go and send your confessions, even as a voice note. It will be okay on our Trenza Play app. The other story that I'm going to be sharing with you, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story? I also listen to your confessions quite a lot. I am a South African woman who works here in Johannesburg. My sisters, those that do hustle in the streets, my friends, my fellow hustlers, those are the ones that I'm going to be talking to. I really do not mind if there are people that are going to be judgmental. I am a prostitute, by the way. I want other fellow prostitutes to hear me when I say this. Never go with a client to his house if you value your life, if you value yourself, if you want to see yourself tomorrow alive. Let them insult you, let them call you names, let them drive away, but refuse, because I am standing here today only by the grace of God. I almost did not make it. I will tell you my story. I grew up in Soweto. Like, it was really difficult. Poverty was everywhere. My mother, she was just trying to make it in life. My father, he really did not even care. There was too much violence in my family. My mother, she used to drink alcohol as well. And because of the bitterness that she had in her heart, whenever she was drunk, she would then fight with my father, who would be drunk as well. They would fight all night long. By 17, I had dropped out of school. By 18, I was already on the streets of Johannesburg in Hillbrow, and I was selling myself in Yeoville, in Braamfontein, selling my body to survive. Like, people, they just love to just spit at us. They call us names, Mahosha, but they don't understand that you do not choose this life. Like, you are pushed into becoming a Mahosha by hunger and by the children that you need to feed, and by what you are supposed to achieve in life, especially when you come from a very poor background. So on the streets, like, it is very difficult. Like, there is no man that comes to you like with his criminal record and tell you that he does not have any criminal record. You do not know if the person that you are dealing with is a killer, if the person that you are dealing with is an abuser or is a ritualist. There is no man that will come to you and tell you that he wants to kill you. And as a prostitute, you are always going to be an easy target for those that do rituals, those that want to hurt women. And I just want to warn other women out there, never go with a man, at least without payment upfront. Don't drink too much when a client offers you something. And the most important one that I have learned, that I want other women to learn, never ever go to a client's house. At least take them to a lodge, to a motel, or at least in their car, but not in their home, because in their home, like, you can be trapped. I now know that this rule is very important. I had been told about this rule when I was still a teenager, but because I just wanted to make more money, I agreed to go with this other guy. It was on a Friday night, just after payday, and like, a lot of people were making money and everyone was just enjoying in Hillbrow. There was music everywhere from different taverns, and us women, we were busy waiting for our customers. And I had not eaten almost the whole day. My rent was due. I was desperate. I wanted money. That was when I saw him, this other guy. He had a black BMW X5. He parked near the corner. He rolled down his tinted window and he called me. He was handsome. He smelled so nice. I don't want to lie. He was clean. And he said, baby girl, how much is it going to be for the whole night? I told him my price. He looked at me and he said, yo, you are so yummy. I'll give you double. But I don't do lodges. I want comfort. Come with me to my place. I will treat you well. I hesitated. Like, I did not want to go to his house, never go to their house. But when he waved a fat stack in my face of cash, my greed silenced everything that was warning me about this guy. So I entered into his car. At first, everything seemed normal. He played soft jazz music, asked me about myself, told me that he worked in business, but the more that he spoke, like the more that I felt so out of place. We drove out of Hillbrow, past Senton, into a quieter suburb. And when we arrived there, we finally pulled into a gated complex. The security guard barely looked at him. He drove inside, parked, and let me into his house. And we finally got into the house. Like, when I looked into everything in that was in his house, like, there were things that I could not understand. Like, there were too many statues that were in the living room that made me to feel so scared. Like, the guy literally had no furniture in his house, but it was a very big house. Then he gave me some wine and he was like, I want you to feel comfortable. I sat on the couch and he gave me something and he said, drink. So I then took and I drank, and he went with me to this other bedroom. And when I was inside the bedroom, I saw that there was a table that was in the middle of that bedroom, and he told me to get on top of that bedroom, and he tied me to the bed. When he tied me to that metallic bed, he started to beat me up, and I asked him, why are you beating me? He told me that he is a Christian and he hates prostitutes. The way that this man was beating me up, it was so painful, and he was very violent with me. He was even threatening to stab me with a knife. He said that if he was going to stab me, then the demon of prostitution was going to come out of my body, and by beating me with a shambok, he was bringing the spirit of Mahosha outside of me. This guy even had a ZCC badge on when he was busy beating me up. Like, he was pure psycho at that time. And after he was done beating me, he then started to sleep with me whilst he had me tied to the bed. And he gave me money, and he told me that he had so many connections. Even if I was going to get him arrested, I was going to be arrested in return. You won't believe how much he gave me for only a couple of hours that we had spent together. With the abuse that I had faced, the guy gave me 20K, and he said that I was not supposed to tell others, but I was supposed to stop being a mahosha. And when I left the complex, he literally dumped me just outside of the complex, but I was grateful that I was still alive. I Ubered back to my place with the cash that he had given me. I could not walk for several days. I just want other women to know that life is dangerous already. You need to know that there are people out there that are psychopaths, those that will harm you simply because you are just a woman. Never agree to go with a man to his place. In my own case, I was lucky that the guy, he did not stab me to death. Even if he had stabbed me to death, no one was ever going to know that he was the one that had killed me. Maybe he was just going to kill me, burn my body like he was saying, and drop me in the middle of the forest. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us try to talk about this in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. If you are a prostitute, you can bring your confession as well so that we can know and understand. Yo.